Lynnwood, Washington. What are the pros and cons of living in this area? You might hear about Lynnwood quite a bit, and maybe you only hear the good things. Well, I'm going to share with you not only the good things in this video, but as a local, what are the bad things as well? Like the things that no one's going to tell you. I'm going to share those things with you in this video so you objectively can make a decision that this is an area that you want to consider possibly moving to. Let's face it, Lynnwood gets a lot of attention because it's really in that wishbone kind of area that funnels down to Seattle and to Bellevue. They both funnel up to Lynnwood. So it makes a ton of sense to possibly own a home in Lynnwood if you're working in Seattle or Bellevue. We're going to talk about all of that here in just 1 minute. My name is Mike Novak. I'm one of the agents for the Novak real estate team right here in Snohomish County. Our team helps about 250 families each and every year make a move. If you're thinking about selling a home or buying a home, definitely reach out to us. All our contact information is down below. Happy to have a conversation with you and see if it could be a good fit to help you with your home buying or selling goals, okay? But let's jump right into today's video and let's start with the pros, the good things about living in Lynnwood. Then we'll get to the cons at the end, okay? The first pro is the awesome location. Like I said at the beginning of the video, Lynnwood is really a commuter's best dream when it comes to going to Seattle or Bellevue. It's about 17 miles to either one of these things, either one of these areas. And you know, that drive could average 20 minutes. It could average an hour. It totally depends on what time of day and what traffic is really happening at that particular hour. Sometimes it's great, sometimes it's not so great. If you're thinking about buying in Lynnwood, I always tell my clients, map search your drive at the time that you would be driving it. Okay, so if you're normally gonna leave the house at 6 a.m., Google search it at 6 a.m. and see how long it's gonna take you to get to your office in Seattle or Bellevue so you know exactly what to expect, and check it on 2 or 3 different days. So you kind of get an average time frame. But I've seen as short as 20 minutes, as long as an hour. It really depends on the traffic on any given day, if there's accidents and weather and things like that. But the location of Lynnwood is undeniably fantastic if you're working downtown. And if you're working downtown and you look at home prices downtown, they're crazy compared to Lynnwood. Lynnwood feels like a value. I always tell my clients that Seattle and Bellevue is really what I call the epicenter of high pricing in our state. The further north you go, the more house you get for the money. Same with going south as well, okay? So Lynnwood represents a tremendous value compared to Seattle and even to shoreline and areas like that, okay? And so that location is super attractive to so many people. People love Lynnwood, especially if they work in Bellevue or if they work in Seattle. It makes a ton of sense to look at. The second big pro is the awesome shopping. Lynnwood is definitely like a shopper's dream when it comes to retail, okay? You've got the Alderwood Mall, which is arguably the best mall in Snohomish County. Lots of amazing shopping there, a huge Nordstrom. They've got a great movie theater as well. Tons of restaurants, you know, really just great shopping. And you've got Costco, you've got Best Buy, you've got Nordstrom Rack. You have all this awesome shopping right at your fingertips. So if shopping is big to you, definitely Lynnwood is gonna be something you're gonna wanna take a hard look at. And it's something that a lot of people travel down to Lynnwood for, whether they're coming from Canada or Everett or wherever else. Their destinations to go shop at the Alderwood Mall. Alderwood Mall is a huge magnet for visitors coming to that area. Because of that, it can also create some traffic as well. Just a heads up on that. The other thing that I love about Lynnwood is they have a Whole Foods. Whole Foods is fantastic. If you haven't checked it out, man, is it an awesome grocery store. Everything is so fresh, so organic. It's just great. Like, go check out Whole Foods, and it's actually in a really convenient location, not far from I-5. So definitely check that out. Okay, the third pro is the average home price. The average home price in Lynnwood, as of the shooting of this video, March 2024, is about $789,000. In today's mortgage rates, which are about 6.5%, that comes out to a payment of about $5,700 a month if you put 10% down, including taxes and insurance. So while that sounds like a lot of money each month, this is a remarkably better deal than Seattle. Seattle is very close to $1 million average purchase price, and Bellevue, oh my gosh, it's at $1.8 million, more than double the average price of Lynnwood. So you can see right off the pricing dynamic alone why Lynnwood is so attractive. Like, it's a reasonable commute and the home prices are so much less than living in or near the city. Drive a little, save a lot, definitely applies here. But you're still gonna wanna have a household income of at least $150,000 to be able to be comfortable with a payment of that size. Obviously, if you put down more money, your payment's gonna be smaller, but I just wanna give that context. About $5,700 is kind of what you're looking at for the average home in Lynnwood when you add taxes and insurance if you put 10% down in today's mortgage money. The fourth and final big benefit, I think, is the decent schools. A lot of Lynnwood funnels into Edmonds School District and some of it funnels into Mukilteo School District as well. Both of those are quite good. There's also the Lynnwood School school district, which is just okay. So you're gonna wanna really search the different areas of Lynnwood and figure out where you want to be to end up in the school district that's most important to you. Some people care a lot about schools. Other people could, it's not as important to them. But if schools do matter to you, you're gonna find that where you live at in Lynnwood has a huge impact on which school district you funnel into. It's not just gonna be Lynnwood automatically. It could easily be Edmonds. It could easily be Mukilteo as well. So put your home address into greatschools.org, the home that you're thinking about buying, and it'll tell you which schools are assigned to that actual house address. And it'll show you the elementary school, the middle school, the high school, and it'll rate them on a scale of 0 to 10, okay? Give you kind of an idea of what you're looking at. I usually recommend schools that are a 7 or higher. I found greatschools.org is pretty dang accurate when it comes to the ratings of schools based on the conversations I've had with tons of clients that have their kids in these different schools. Usually the feedback they give me on the schools directly mirrors what I see on greatschools.org. All right, so now you've got all the good stuff out of the way. Let's talk about the not so good stuff, the cons. The first one, traffic. Traffic can be a nightmare in Lynnwood. It's unpredictable because it's really at that wishbone Y between Seattle and Bellevue. It can get super congested during rush hour. If you're not driving at peak traffic time, it's probably not gonna be so bad, but traffic can be a real nightmare. There's an express lane going down 405. You can get a good to go pass, and that could save you a ton of time getting into Bellevue. In Seattle, there's the express lanes. Sometimes they will save you time, sometimes they will not. Either way, if you can carpool and get in the diamond lane, gonna definitely save you some time getting in and out of the city. There's public transportation as well. Like you could definitely take the bus. The light rail's obviously under development. Some of it is live, some of it is not, but look at some public transportation options just to lighten that amount of traffic we have going on. There's a lot of people that take advantage of public transit that live in Lynnwood because it's pretty fantastic, or they carpool into the city with their coworkers. Okay, so that's the first thing you gotta be aware of. Be ready for some rough traffic. The second con, and this is subjective, this is just my opinion, but my opinion is it's not so awesome from the perspective that there's no real downtown area. I love like an old school Main Street downtown. Go look at downtown Snohomish. Go look at downtown Arlington, downtown Granite Falls. And you've got like these downtown kind of old school areas, right? Even Everett's got like a fantastic downtown area that's kind of being revitalized. But in Lynnwood, there really is no old school downtown. It's just basically a bunch of retail malls kind of attached together and disjointed a little bit. You've got Alderwood Mall, which is probably the closest thing you could consider to being like the epicenter of activity, but it's definitely not a downtown. So if a downtown Main Street vibe is important to you, like you might see in Edmonds or Arlington or Snohomish, you're not gonna get that in Lynnwood. Just wanna be super upfront with you about that. You're gonna see like very corporate type restaurants and a lot of retail shopping. The retail shopping is definitely a benefit, like I shared earlier, but there's also the downside. There's just no old school downtown Main Street in Lynnwood. So it kind of breaks that community vibe a little bit for me, but again, this is highly personal. It's just something that I've noticed myself, and I've had many clients also share with me as well. They're like, hey, where's the downtown area of Lynnwood? I'm like, well, there really isn't any. There's just a lot of retail, there's a lot of strip malls, and there's a lot of big box shopping. The final con, and this was a pro too, it's the cost of living. If you compare and contrast the cost of living in Lynnwood to Seattle or Bellevue, without question, it's a lot better deal, right? You can buy way more house for the money. I shared with you the numbers earlier than you can in those areas. But if you compare and contrast Lynnwood to say Everett or Marysville, it's kind of going the opposite direction, right? It's closer to the city, so it's much, much more expensive. It's about $100,000 more to buy a home in Lynnwood than it is in Everett. It's about $150,000 more to buy in Lynnwood than it is in Marysville. So the further you get away from the city, the more house you're going to get for the money. So definitely something you want to keep in mind. The cost of living in Lynnwood is a benefit compared to Seattle and Bellevue. It's a detriment when you're comparing and contrasting it to areas further north like Everett, Marysville, and Arlington, places like that, okay? So if you've got your own pros and cons to Lynnwood, please share them with us. This would be awesome to collaborate and hear what your perspective is. Throw it in the comments below. Let me know if you agree or disagree with what I've got to say about it. Love to hear more from you.